Do I need anything? I don't know.
Hello. Welcome to our first webinar. I'm Terry. This is my wife, Elisabeth. We own Salterra Digital Services with our family, three of our kids behind her over there. This is our first one we've done. We've been wanting to do this for a while. We were a little bit late in our goal. We were hoping to launch this in January. But anyways, here we are. I don't know if everything's going to work right. This is, like I said, our brand new one, our first one. So bear with us as we go through this. But yes, Elisabeth, you want to say anything? You want to welcome everybody?
Hi.
Well, why don't you tell us the story, or tell everybody the story about how Salterra got started?
You want the long version or the short version?
Well, it's only an hour show. We got a lot of stuff to cover.
Okay. So, short version, after the fantastic crash of the real estate market, which we were pretty heavily embedded in, we kind of had to reinvent ourselves and start all over. You were recovering from shoulder surgery and heavily medicated. And so there wasn't really a whole lot of options for corporate job. With your software background, that was just kind of an easy thing to take and do a side gig to try to help us out. A lot of friends from our church said, hey, I need help. Our church needed their website revamped, and it just really kind of exploded from there. So we do actually give a lot of credit to God for giving us this opportunity, our friends for supporting us, and our family for sticking with us through the hard and heavy parts of creating an agency from scratch when you don't know the industry or what you're doing. So I came on board to help out. Both of us are self-taught, and this is all something that we've kind of had to scrap along, figure things out. I know like the first 7 years in the industry, you and I didn't have any other industry friends. We didn't have any support. It was just me and you. Dogs and kids. And so we just kind of pulled it all together, and that's kind of how we started.
Yeah, it's been a pretty interesting road. On the SEO side, the marketing side, I actually got forced into it. I say that kind of haphazardly volunteering, but one of our cancer clients that we did a bunch of website work with, and they just wanted me to see what this, marketing thing was, this optimization. They were paying some money. They didn't really know how to check, if it was working or if it wasn't working. I had no idea. So I actually, I don't know, I didn't do it pro bono, but I, took it asking for a little bit of money, got into it a little bit, and then kind of after about 3 or 4 months, kind of learned the process. And then my first paying client was actually an insurance company that was just basically all over the place. They didn't know if they were under penalty. They didn't know if what the penalty was. This is way back before, or right around the time Google's first animal hit. But it was an interesting journey. Self-taught. I'm a techie guy. I'm a code guy, so that's my background. So I was able to get in and kind of just look at data, scraping, learn how to scrape stuff, different things, very, antiquated in today's world for sure. But, it gave us a starting point to learn this industry, and then just kind of fell in love with it after that. So I think this is our 14th year with Salterra, and 3 of our kids, Brandon and Skylar, work with me on the marketing side. Braylon works with Elisabeth on the web design, graphic, and branding side. It's a true family business. So sometimes we have to play the dad hat and the mom hat, and
we won't get into all that, but I think that it's been a really great opportunity for the kids. Not only have they seen you and I self-employed in 3 different industries throughout our relationship, they see how we work together, good, bad, and indifferent, but also how, we've started this business pretty much from nothing. After all of the craziness with the real estate market, you and I, we're scrappers. We're not going to take no for an answer. We're going to do what we need to do take care of our family. And so they've seen us be very successful in different businesses, and they've also seen us lose everything and how we band together. That was like a big thing after the real estate market crashed. Like, we had several of our friends that their marriage didn't last through it. And that was one thing that I think brought us together. And I know not everybody can work with their spouse, and I absolutely don't always suggest that. You have to kind of do what's right for you. But for us, it really does work.
Yeah, 100%. And it's, and we've tried not working it, not working together, and it didn't last very long. So, but like I said, I think the biggest thing is understanding, basically what people like. Elizabeth loves design. She loves the web design portion of it. She doesn't really kind of grasp the SEO world. She knows of it just because she's been around me so long, but she's not interested enough into saying, hey, I want to be part of the SEO side. And that works. So I've always said that Saltera will always sell web design. So I think web design is one of those things, software development, that side of the fence, I think is going to be an important asset going forward. On the marketing side, we're all having to do some slight pivots. We're all having to do some, do things we weren't doing a year or two ago, or doing things better, obviously with AI and everything coming. So, or here and not going anywhere soon.
Well, any business has to do that. You have to be willing and able to evolve. You can't just be stagnant and, well, this is the way we've always done it. This is the way we're going to continue to do it. Our industry is just so ever changing every single second. And, to see, our lifetime from before there ever really were computers to how everything has exploded, you better evolve and you better adapt and you better stay relevant.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, well, great. So we'll have some time at the end for questions, but I did have some people, kind of, in just our community, ask us some things that we could talk about, especially about Saltera. Like, what inspired you both to start Saltera, and how has working as a family influenced the direction and values of your business?
I want to jump in.
Yeah, go ahead, Elizabeth. You go that one.
What started it is we wanted to feed our family. We lost everything in the real estate market. What are we going to do? Neither one of us really wanted to go back into a corporate job, even though we did have that in our background. We like being employed together, self-employed, and we felt that we could achieve far more, far greater, far faster by working for ourselves than working for another company. I know that's not for everybody. So that's what prompted us to get started. And I just think that the successes that we've had has encouraged us to keep going. We have really done a lot for our family, for us. We've been able to give our kids opportunities to be employed, to learn skill sets to where they're not necessarily relying on working for another company. They've popped in and out. They've not been employed with us entirely, except for Skylar. But they've had opportunities to see how other companies work, and they've come back to us. So hopefully that says something about how we have set our business up and the type of clients that we have, that they do keep coming back.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. I think, it is a true dynamic, and we've met people now in this industry that are husband and wife teams. We've met people that, the husband's involved and maybe the wife does appointment setting or bookkeeping or stuff and still involved. So that kind of stuff is just awesome. I think where a lot of people run into the challenge of it is not just the husband and wife aspect of it, but more of the kids aspect of it. So, and that's just, it can be a struggle. Skylar, like I said, Skylar's been with us since he was 15, maybe 16, no, 15, maybe even a little bit earlier. But, it's a different dynamic because, like you said, it's some kids it doesn't work for. So that's why they all don't work for us. Alice wants nothing to do with this business. That's our youngest, so But I think you just, again, it's a skill set. What are you passionate about? What do you like to do? What's going to keep you entertained every day so you work 8 hours every single day? And those are conversations that we have all the time, pretty much yearly. So with all of our staff, not just our kids. But I
Well,
think it's, but I do think it's important to make sure that there's boundaries. When we're working, we're working. If you have, obviously, if you have a kid emergency, we're here. But for the most part, we try to keep it like running like a business when it's supposed to be running like a business. And I think we do pretty good, and the kids do very well with it too. So I think that's important to make sure that you have to have that dynamic, so it's not a fight, whether it be daily or weekly, monthly, whatever.
well, and one of the things is drawing on your past experience when you were in other positions, other companies and stuff like that, that your management style is let's find a good fit. And the way our industry works is you can specialize on any kind of subset of SEO or marketing or web or anything like that. You don't have to necessarily be in one position. And you've always worked with the kids and the staff of, okay, what are you good at? What do you like to do? And it's not just about that you can focus for 8 hours and get stuff done. That's obviously important from an agency standpoint, but that self-satisfaction with your job. Hey, Brian.
Yeah. Yep. Hello, Brian Cato. Yeah, exactly right. I mean, like I said, I tell everybody, if you're not happy going and doing what you're doing, you've got to find a different thing to do.
Yeah.
At some point. I mean, and we, even in the corporate world, I dealt with that. Elizabeth's dealt with that. The corporate world, we get stuck doing stuff that we absolutely hate. And we kind of look and see, okay, which way can I advance? Can I go this way? Can I go that way? Do I have to look at a different company? I mean, we've been there. And so I think we've learned through the years that we just, and again, we're not perfect by any means. So, and so I think it's just, you want to just make sure that you provide an environment that they look forward to coming to, and making sure that you have that check and balance system. That's probably, at least for an agency portion of it, we have typical agency problems. We're not definitely a perfect agency. So we've got client issues. We do the same thing everybody else does. But I think the way we kind of make sure that we manage projects is the stuff that we are spending the most time on right now. So because we're finding holes in our SOP, we're finding, people are, typical stuff. They, completed a task that wasn't quite completed, no check and balance systems or limited check and balance systems. So those are the type of things as a family business that we really, say, hey guys, we love you, but this isn't about that. This is about A, B, and C. It's about learning. It's about getting better. It's about doing better, and just rock
Well,
that.
and I feel that the kids are invested in our success because, I mean, that could potentially be their legacy,
Mhm.
So
If they want it, right now they don't want it. So, but that's okay. But it could come, definitely 100%. And when we started the family side of it, we do talk a little bit about building something that can be passed around or passed down or however you want to do it. And we don't know. We'll see what happens. So let me get into some of these other ones. So, let me see. I think asking about specific incidents where family dynamics played a critical role. Let's see. Can you share a pivotal moment in Salterra's history when working as a family presented unique challenges or advantages? I just think, and this is just recent, we've just started really doing this about a year and a half ago, is really kind of bringing the family business, quote unquote, right to the forefront at the beginning. Whether it be a discovery call, whether it be, interview. We basically interview people, and as they're interviewing us to hire us, we're also interviewing them to see if we want that client relationship. So a lot of times when we go and look and do things is, we've just started bringing in the family business, and in my opinion, it's really had a really cool effect. So they know they're not just dealing with a local company, they're dealing with a local family company. So, and we just started kind of putting that into the forefront, which we hadn't in the past. And so I think for me anyways, the answer to that question is that's kind of the pivotal moment in the way I talk to people. Elizabeth probably has a completely different one, but from my side and the people that I deal with, that seemed to really kind of calm everything down from the very beginning. We're not just here
what
to
exactly do you mean calm down? Do you feel like that they have a stronger sense of security in us as an agency because we are family?
I think it does break down some barriers for sure. Most of the people that come to my side, especially, have been burned over and over and over again. So, so the whole idea of creating this relationship with a client is break down as many barriers as possible so you can try to find the true reason that we're in conversation in the first place. And it's typically not about SEO.
You think the experience that some people that have had they brought that to your attention that, having offshore employees is a negative, and
I don't even categorize it as off page, or excuse me, out of country, in country. Because there's some agencies in country that, just aren't doing it, at least the way that we do it. So I just think that it's more of a, I don't know. Let's just break it down. Let's just figure out we're a family business. We're not going anywhere. We're not a fly by night company. With 14 years, all the stuff that sets us differently than anybody else. I've just found, at least now, without vomiting information on people, that does kind of tend to break down barriers at the beginning and gets into a different conversation type mode.
All right. Next question.
Okay. Let me see. How do you balance professional and personal aspects of running Solterra?
Don't ask the kids because they're going to tell you we talk business at every family event and every meal. And
yeah, we actually get together as a family every Sunday night, kind of like Blue Bloods. Blue Bloods. Anyways, and it is business. Obviously it's not all business because we've got, Eric, who doesn't work with us, and then Alice for sure. So it's just, but it is. We take trips. Obviously, I've taken them to conferences. We do our company events. So, but I think the balance is I think the kids really know, well, when to talk to dad and when to talk to mom, basically. So, because like I said, I'm pretty rigid about if it's not, on fire, don't talk to me between business hours unless it's business. So I really try to run that on my side. And Elisabeth's a little bit more flexible. So, but I think that's okay, as long as it's not taken advantage of. But that's like it. Same thing with any employee. I've had employees that I really liked. I played golf with them, and you can kind of find out that your boundaries are kind of out of whack. Same type of. So, in terms of business growth and evolution, how have you managed to align your individual visions for Solterra?
Well, we have meetings regularly, you and I, to come together and discuss where are we going, what are our goals, what do we need to focus on. We've always had that. Even when we first started, we were always trying to connect as far as making sure you and I are on the same page. And I know, we kind of have two separate sides of the company. Like I've got the web dev side and you've got the SEO side. And there's a little overlap, but not a ton. But I still think that you and I come together as a whole. And it's like, okay, are we going in the right direction? Are we meeting our goals? Are we even setting goals? Like, what's the what,
For sure. And it's, yeah, super important. All that stuff is, especially, getting together. We have what we call finance weekends where we'll lock ourselves in a hotel room on a weekend and we go through everything. What are we paying monthly for that we're not using? How can we save money? What can we do here? How can we better automate? That's been a lot of our conversations lately. So,
yeah.
But again, I just think that makes the dynamic stronger. So, all right.
And don't everyone think that it's all just, kittens and rainbows in the Samuels household. I can assure you, we have had some, pretty, how would I say, emphatic conversations. He tries to fire me, and I say, go ahead, good luck, you do it.
Yeah, I think I fired her a few times. So
yeah. Then he asked me back.
Exactly. So perfect. Like I said, yeah, the biggest thing that, I love about the family dynamic is that, I have trust issues, especially after our real estate business. And that's still to this day a big issue with me. And it's something I work through daily. It's something I try to, you know, not just work through, but be okay with. Because there's a big difference of being, oh, okay, go ahead, but still not being okay with. So and I'm doing that, a lot of that with some different aspects of personal growth and stuff like that, because I know it's holding us back as an agency, and I get that. A lot of times when you look at agencies and growth patterns, you look at the owners, and they're usually the stopping point. And I admit that. I realized that a year and a half, 2 years ago, probably even before that, and kind of put it in the back of my mind. But yeah, I just think it's, I think it's, the family dynamic is cool. It doesn't work for everybody. I know that. I get that. But I just think for us, it works. And our kids represent us well, so a lot of people have met our kids. And I think that's one of the coolest things in the world.
Well, and our personal integrity and our reputation is something that's super important to us, that we definitely work to maintain. The kids are very aware of that, so that even if they're not here locally, they're at a conference, they're still representing Solterra, they're still representing Terry and Elisabeth. So they've been really, really great about that. So unless, of course, y'all have stories I don't need to know about as mom, right?
Exactly. And that's that's the biggest thing, is that, okay, yeah, we're still mom and dad, but we're also, you work for us type of thing. And that, not rudely, obviously, but there is the boundaries there. So anyways, I think that's it for the Solterra questions. I'm looking around. I don't know, forgive me again, I'm not sure how to find questions, but I don't see anything.
Well, I don't, just the good morning comments.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys got any questions, please ask us. We're an open book. We have been, you people that know us, especially, that have been to some of our stuff. We're here to help. That's the biggest thing. We love helping people. That's others before self. So, all right. Well, since nobody's got any questions right now, let's talk about SEO Spring Training.
Woohoo!
Okay. And I actually got 5 questions about SEO Spring Training. So I think the biggest thing that we can talk about first is, and maybe you start, is why did we even start SEO Spring Training back in 2019? What was even the driving factor? Because it is something that's a little bit, you got to be halfway crazy to do events, especially larger ones. But what got us started?
Oh, you want me to? Okay.
Yes.
So you had been to a couple of conferences without me, and you came back and you were very emphatic that it wasn't necessarily meeting your expectations, that you spend a lot of money and you got a little bit out of it, but you really wanted to offer more. You were very interested in it not being a pitch fest, and just little logistics like location, meals, stuff like that. That was always something that I definitely remember you saying. We had looked at partnering with somebody to put on our first event, and that actually went very, very south very, very quickly. And we just we scrapped it together. We put SEO Spring Training together in 2019 pretty much by ourselves. And the feedback that we got was absolutely amazing. We had some really big name speakers, some really heavy hitters in the industry that really validated that what we put together was strong and good and wholesome, and all of the kittens and rainbows that we were looking for, but also some fun little cutting edge dirty secrets, I guess. I don't know, maybe not dirty, but
well, there's Craig Campbell's there.
Right. Well, yeah, that takes it to another level. But we really had a lot of fun that first event. We were so very proud of the speakers that came to support us, because I don't know about you guys, but speakers can make or break your event. I can do all of the things behind the scenes, But if I don't have really great, strong speakers that support us and that offer value and don't turn it into a pitch fest, then that's what attendees are going to remember. They're not going to remember, oh, she gave great swag or the lunches were fun, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, okay, what value did I get out of this event? And that's the biggest thing that we focus on.
I mean, yeah, exactly right. That's the main thing is value. So, and we look at, we look at the way our conference is different. Just not just basically from a value, but continued value. So a lot of conferences end when the conference ends. I'm adamant about continuing to help people down a path. I don't make it mandatory for the speakers to do that, but I get a lot of them that do that with us. And so one of the things that we're very adamant about is, we need to have a facility that will, basically cover three things. One is networking space. So we are big in the networking space. We want people to spend time together. We want people to hang out, grab some drinks and some food and just, get to know each other, get to know, how people can help each other. The speakers all stay at the facility, so they don't go and stay in different hotels or, different offsite things that they want to do. We really want them to be in the community. So for this year, 3 days of the event, it's 3 days. It's the community of it, So we also make sure that the hotel has good food, and we also make sure it has an open bar, or not an open bar. We don't pay for it.
No, not an open bar. Sorry.
Has a bar open until late at night, so
there goes my budget.
Not that one early. But yeah, it's just, so I think the biggest thing that kind of sets us apart is, this year we brought on Clint Butler as a host. Clint's helped us with the last few for sure. But this year he's really come into helping us choose speakers, especially. We get a lot of people want to speak at this event. We're over 100 for 2024, and it's been full for, I don't know, a couple months. And we've already got a huge list for next year. So we try to make sure that the speakers that we introduce, number one, we know what they do. We know who they are. We've followed them. We've taken their classes or courses. We know these people. It's not like that we met somebody on LinkedIn, which there's nothing wrong with this, but we met somebody on LinkedIn and they said they want to speak in an event, and all of a sudden they're on stage. So we really spend a lot of time to make sure that, again, value, what are people doing? What are they bringing to the table? No pitch, the only pitches, it's not really even a pitch, is the sponsors are going to get an opportunity to say, hey, here's what we do. Here's what we are. We have tables if you want more information, swag, all that stuff. But they're not going to stand up there for 50 minutes and then tell you at the end, if you want my, cassette tapes, go in the back of the room and buy your cassette tapes for the younger crowd. Anyways,
you're showing your age on that one, because we've been to events like that where you hear, okay, well, I did this and I did this and I did this, but the only way you can do it is to, spend 5 or 10 grand on my course. And like, I don't begrudge anyone that has a course or a training or something like that. But for the people that are just starting out in the industry that maybe don't have the resources that some of the rest of us do to, spend on our squirrel event of software, we want to make sure that you can walk away with nuggets that you can actually implement. It's not all of this, secret stuff behind a paywall. So,
and stuff that, this conference is basically built around clients. We do have some affiliate stuff that we talk about. We do have some lead gen stuff we definitely talk about, but a lot of the stuff that we talk to and we want the speakers to talk about is stuff that they can do for their clients.
Yeah.
Stuff that they are not going to have a problem. Of course, we encourage everybody all the time, test, but it's not going to be a process that could possibly maybe get you in trouble down the line or something. So we really try to make sure that we're showing the right things to the right audience. It's also an audience where people will bring their employees. So last year we had a law firm brought 3 of their in-house marketing people to the conference. We've had agencies that bring their staff to the conference. So it's really built around that type of, personality, that type of, call it family unit, so to speak. But we really take a lot of time to put this together. We don't haphazardly just throw this thing. We started this thing back in July. And again, we brought on the right people like Clint and stuff to help us get better than last year. And so that's kind of the way we roll.
Well, and I know that you really look at the speakers as far as what we're offering to our audience. Last year we did have a strong focus on agency growth, and the feedback was that wasn't necessarily something that everyone was interested in. So you're taking that information, and with the breakout sessions, if somebody wants agency growth, they can go do that. But if they really want to hardcore focus on page, off page, whatever, then they have that option. They don't have to do the agency growth track. And that gives people the flexibility to get more of what they want out of the conference instead of, here, sit in the conference room for 8 hours for 3 days and try to stay awake and try to stay on track. We're making it a lot more engaging because we do want that audience participation. Our attendees make or break us, as well as the speakers. And I want to make sure every single person walks away and says, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I loved it. I can't wait till next year.
Exactly. And that was the plan this year when we changed the format a little bit is, obviously we go to a lot of events. I talk to a lot of people. And the biggest, not necessarily complaint, but the biggest, biggest negative we hear is sitting in a big room for 8 hours for 2 or 3 days, maybe 9 hours, sometimes 10 hours. And it just, again, you don't really want to leave and people notice that you're missing and, you just wanted a break, or something like that. So we decided this year to have morning stage sessions. So where everybody's in the big room in the morning. We got some killers, sorry, I can't say that word. I'll get banned by Facebook. We have some great speakers that are going to be on stage. And then in the afternoons after lunch, then you're going to get the opportunity to go to 4 different, we call them mastermind breakouts. So we have one mastermind breakout that'll be about on page. So if you want to go learn about on page and schema and siloing and all the stuff that, I don't know, I'm a little bit biased, but all the stuff that I think is the most important in SEO, go to on page. But and say sorry, but then you have the off page and the maps room. So you have if you like and want to learn more about link building, or you want to learn more about, definitely about GBPs and all the different things people are doing with maps. We have a third room that's obviously AI. AI is probably the biggest thing right now that's, in our industry that we're all having to deal with, whether you're dealing with it good or you're dealing with it bad. We have a room to find out more stuff about that. And then we have the fourth room is going to be an agency room. We got somebody that's going to talk about, doing some pay-per-click. So we got that room right there is kind of the room that you can kind of go to if you're interested in some non-SEO type stuff. But I think the biggest thing is that it also gives people in the afternoon that if they want to take a break and just talk to people, they take a break and talk to people. There's no pressure. That's especially for me. I get invited to a lot of events and I speak at a lot of events, and I feel pressure if I just want to take an hour or hour and a half to go down to the, go out and, outside or whatever. Just so I wanted to kind of make sure that pressure was now gone.
Well, and it's not pressure. I think when you're invited to an event to speak, you want to honor that event. You want to honor those people that are putting it on. And that's why you stay there, because they've invited you, with or without compensation is irrelevant, but you are standing there representing yourself, representing Salterra, and you want to be available to people to ask questions. So that's the pressure you put on yourself, I get, but it's out of respect for the people that have invited you to that event to speak. And that's because I know you personally. I can say that. You are honoring that invitation, and you are respectful to the people that have brought you there, and that's why you stay. And obviously you are like you totally geek out over on page and all that foundational stuff. And so you really like talking about it. I mean, your face lights up, you get really excited. So you
True.
like to share that information.
So, okay, cool. So another question, if someone is on the fence about attending or have never attended an event before, what would you say is the single most compelling reason to attend SEO Spring Training this year?
I would say that your network is equivalent to your net worth. Like if you're wanting to grow and get bigger, that's fantastic. You have to have a support network around you, because I noticed for us, like we hit a certain level when it was just me and you. But I feel that once we branched out, we talked to other people in the industry, we were able to change our agency a little bit, but it's also that personal growth that you get. Iron sharpens iron. And, that's something that we can only get better if we bring in more information, bring in more knowledge, more skill, and things like that. And I think that especially the friends that we've made in SEO over the last couple of years, absolutely unparalleled. I always talk up my fellow SEO friends, and it's because they are really fantastic people. They are invested in our success. They're invested in us as people. And, I've got some friendships out of this that legitimately, apparently, I can have somebody pick me up at the airport at 1:00 in the morning because I have such strong friendships, and I would absolutely do the same for them.
Oh yeah, it's the friendships of this business are amazing. Like you mentioned in the beginning, this is our third business, and I'm not friends with anybody from the first two. So, but I do think it's just awesome that that it's just the camaraderie that we get, and we see each other. Even if we see each other 3 or 4 times a year, it's like we haven't seen each other. So it is
like time hasn't gone by. It's like you're just picking up right where you left off.
Exactly. And so the biggest thing that we want to make sure that people understand, especially if you've never been to a conference or you've had a bad experience at a conference, we have too. That's the reason we started this. So, and each year it gets better and better because we do take a lot of time to the experience and negative and positive that we've had in the past. We want to either, make better or do better. And so, we really, like I said, especially after the event's over, we're still going to be having some AMAs. We're still going to be, doing stuff in the Facebook group for all the people that attended. And, you're still going to have opportunities to still ask questions, of the stuff that you're trying to implement, because it is a lot of information. There is information overload, especially if you quasi don't have a plan, which that's kind of the next question. But, I do want to say that, do some research, figure out, what your current situation is. So, actually, I'll just leave that in the next question is,
well, hold on just a minute,
yeah.
because when you talk about information overload at the conference, one of the big values is you can reach out to somebody that you met at that conference later on afterwards, like, a couple weeks, couple months. Hey, we met at SEO Spring Training. You were talking about such and such. Can you expound on that? Can we connect over that? And because you've had that face-to-face connection, everything in online and digital right now, it just feels a little impersonal. People scream at each other on Facebook over crazy stuff. But when you actually sit down and talk to somebody in person, it's a totally, totally different dynamic. And it's a different, deeper connection. And that's what we like about the conference.
It is, and even, I'm more of an introvert than anything. So going to conferences for me was getting outside the box, especially if I'm going there. And, one of the things that I try to tell people before you go to a conference, make sure you understand, why are you going? What is the reason? Are you struggling with something? Are you looking to expand on something? Are you looking to add to your agency? Whatever that is, make sure that you have that information so you make a better decision. So when you do go to a conference or a mastermind or whatever type of event you're going to, then you can make sure that you're focusing on what you want to learn, focus on whatever. Now you'll probably get some new ideas while you're there. Happens every
Yeah,
time, you
all the
know.
time.
And then, but the whole idea is just make sure that if you went there to be better at on page, spend some time with the people that do on page. One of the things about our conference too that is maybe a little bit different is, like I said before, we try to put new people on stage and in presentations each year. Well, a lot of the old speakers and presenters from last year, the year before, when we had COVID, when we did the COVID digital, and then the first year, they still come back. So even though I have 30 speakers on stage, you could have 20 or 30 in the audience that were on stage before. So that's where I think, especially being our fifth year and getting, we have a very good reputation. We've got some very good reviews, and we take all that stuff super seriously. So if you've never been or you're going or whatever, have a plan. If you're just going to network, all day long, man, bring it on. Let's go. But if you're struggling with something, if you want to start looking at link building and you've never done that before, or you want to go, see Jason and talk about, pay-per-click and stuff like that. So those are the opportunities. If you want to grow your agency, we got Josh Nelson coming, one of the best agency growth people on the planet. Same with Patrick Shannon. So, we got some real powerhouses coming for whatever you want to learn, and continue to learn after. So, like I said, it just doesn't stop on the 7th of April.
Well, and one of the things that we're doing that I haven't seen in as many other conferences is we've got the Tech Mastermind. And that last year, I think it just blew people away. The incredible amount of skill and intelligence and creativity that people are utilizing tech for. And it's a completely open forum. Like, it's not a structured, I'm going to stand up here and lecture to you. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what can we do with this? And how can we figure this out? And, I'm a hidden geek at heart. Like, I know I'm truly a web designer, graphics, all of that. But my inner geek gets really excited at some of the stuff that is explained and shared in the Tech Mastermind. And I don't know of anywhere else you can get that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's, because we want people, again, if the value is the big thing, and it's just not the value of the ticket, it all costs money. The flight, the hotel, all of it costs money. So you can't look at it and say, okay, we've got a, 3-day conference for a $1,200 ticket. That's not the value. The value play is when you include everything else. You want to recoup your investment, so to speak. Now, whether you implement or not, that's a whole different topic. But the idea is that you want to go to any conference and make sure that you're going there and going to see a return on that investment. And that's what we kind of make sure that we do. We talk a lot of people. We keep our conferences small. This year we're maxed at 180. So we keep them small so we can have a more intimate relationship with you all too. So I talk to people. I'm still working with them back when we had our conference last April. So, that's the kind of relationships that you get at some events, but especially at our event. I don't talk negative about any event. So
you're not a big fancy superstar that's going to fly in and stand on stage for 20 minutes and fly out.
No, I don't think I'm going to do that this time. So, okay, so one of the things is, the last question we got for spring training was looking ahead. What are some of the topics and trends that, you guys are going to discuss and go through? Well, and if you look at the agenda on the website, it's seospringtraining.com. Some of the tech people haven't put in their topics yet. AI is changing daily. So the people that are going to be focusing, or including AI in their presentation, those are the people that are, they're waiting to say their topic because they want it to be cutting edge. They want to see, what does Gemini do? Gemini is fairly new to the game, a few weeks. So, So that's why we have some speakers when you look at the schedule, haven't filled out what they're going to talk about yet. So we pay attention to this big time. So that's one of the things that I believe us as hosts, Clint and I especially, we need to make sure that we are seeing the latest and greatest. So we've got somebody coming to talk about TikTok ads that's just cruising. So anyway, so just those type of things. So yes, it's one of the things that we have to keep up with, especially in this business. We like to make sure that I've tested it, Clint's tested it. We've used whatever people are telling us could help us and make things better. And so that also goes along. We just don't do conferences. We're in the game all the time.
All day, every day, even on weekends.
So, all right, cool. So that's all the questions we had. Like I said, I didn't ask for questions. These are ones that I've had in the past 3 or 4 weeks just talking to people. Anyway, so we can open up for questions. I don't know if we have any anywhere.
One that is watching.
Let's see, Terry Power, nothing you gain, nothing you keep will be as important as the relationships you can nourish. Exactly right. So yeah, like I said, we're going to continue to do these. Next time we're on, I think we're going to schedule one for Monday next week. We're going to have Clint on, and Clint's going to do a little bit more insight into the thought process of, not just, keeping track of topics, but keeping track of the right speakers for those topics, and making sure, again, that it's the value that we bring. So, so we'll put out a thing about that. But if there's any questions in between that time, reach out to us. We'd love to answer them now. And if we can put them on air, that'd be great. We are new to this. So this one, when I hit stop, is going to be pretty interesting because I'm not sure what it's going to do.
Also give the coupon code.
Yep. Here, hold on. I have a thing. Hold on. I have a thing.
Of course you have a thing. I made you a thing.
Yeah, there we go. So, let me see. Present. Screen.
We'll definitely make sure that the thing is shared on social media and also, everywhere. But we absolutely wanted to thank our sponsors. We've got some sponsors that are very near and dear to our heart. Agency Assassin. I know a lot of people use that software for local. 38 Digital, best press releases you can find. Stealth SEO. ZimWriter, everybody's hopping and popping over ZimWriter. They love Matt and his software. Solterra and Digitaleer, obviously, are very heavy hitters in the industry, right? But we wanted to thank everyone and acknowledge them as our sponsors. We've got 43 days left. There's only a couple seats available for the VIP and the Tech Mastermind, but general admission is still open. We've got
use the coupon code. And here's like a giveaway. Whoever uses that coupon code in the next, say, 48 hours, you get to go to dinner with Elisabeth and I on Friday night of the conference.
Woohoo!
So we'll treat you to dinner. You can spend some time with us. If you want to, maybe we can talk Clinton and coming. But yeah, that would be our gift to you is, kind of, buy a ticket, use that code, and we will go to dinner.
Yeah. So somebody asked, Joe asked if I have an art background. So yes, I do have a little bit of an art background, like all the way back. I actually, funny story, I got suspended from school in kindergarten for drawing pictures of Snoopy. So like I say, it goes way back. But I did take a lot of art and drafting and stuff like that. So I am the graphic designer for Solterra. So hopefully you love some of the stuff I've done. And I do a lot of the graphics for our clients, as well as us, as well as any of our endeavors. And yeah, Garfield is awesome. But yeah, so that's kind of where I come from. But it's a real small side gig, because as much as I love it, art and graphics doesn't pay the bills. That's why I got Terry around for his SEO, so that we can keep people happy and get them ranking. I've always said, I don't care how beautiful your website is. If it doesn't rank and anyone can't find you, then it really doesn't have a lot of value. So it's very much hand in hand. And that's one of the reasons why in the industry, Terry and I are so unique and so different, is because I am web design and graphic design, and he is doing everything to make it rank and to get people in there. Chris asked if he's got Dory in the lineup to speak. Absolutely. Yep. She's going to come out. Her conference is a sister conference to ours. We've done reciprocal things at each other's events. And so it's really nice.
Yeah, she's going to be in the link building room, or the off-page room. So Trevor asked, is there going to be an online ticket this year, Terry? Actually, we're probably going to make that decision in the next week. We have had a lot, just a ton of requests for that. So we weren't considering it, but I do know that, through whatever, people can't get to Scottsdale, Arizona in April. I get that, but we still want to make sure that we respect the topics of the speakers. The Tech Mastermind will not be recorded, I can tell you that. But we are looking at maybe live streaming the stage, but we're going to have some conversations to see. Last year we sold recordings, and to be honest with you, the people that even bought them didn't really watch them. So I'm like anti, shiny object syndrome. So I don't want to sell you something that you're not going to utilize or use. So, but again, we'll make that decision here in the next week or 10 days. We've still got some time, but yeah, I'm getting probably 3 or 4 questions like that a day. So
yeah,
we understand that the need's out there. So,
well, and that's definitely true. Like, we don't want, this isn't, something for people to waste money on. Again, it has to be the value, So yeah. We'll look at that. I did have a question of, what are you personally most looking forward to for this year's conference in comparison to last year's? And that's a great question. So last year's, it far exceeded our expectations. And, we've got some testimonials out there of people who have worked with us before, attended our events, and then also people who have never attended our events. So it gives you a really good feel for what people thought, and they absolutely loved it. I'm looking forward to exceeding people's expectations for this year. I want to make sure that everyone has a good time, everyone gets value. We chose a different hotel this year. And the reason we did that is because not only did we get a really great deal on the room block, for those of you that still haven't purchased tickets or still haven't found a place to stay, jump on that room block before it expires.
Yeah, there's another event happening that same weekend here.
Yeah, and rooms are skyrocketing that weekend. So
that Saturday night, or that weekend, is the men's NAA tournament Final Four.
Yeah. So definitely look into that. But the way the hotel is situated, there is a restaurant on site. There's a cafe for Starbucks and snacks and sandwiches and pastries and stuff like that. But the seating areas in the lobby, on the patio by the pool, everywhere, there's total fantastic opportunities to sit down and talk and connect with people. And for all of those people that are staying on site, the speakers should all be there. We've got a wonderful welcome reception Thursday evening for everybody. Speakers, VIPs, everybody is invited to the welcome reception. And then
the VIP, you didn't even say what the VIP event is.
My shirt gave it away, right? My shirt. We have a couple of suites. We have 3 suites at the Diamondbacks versus Yankees, and they are right behind home plate. And we'll take care of food. There's a bar around the corner, and we just really want our VIPs to know that they are loved and appreciated, and they are treated very well. It's I get really excited over the VIP event. I know not everybody can swing that purchase price. And so we also make sure that the business tech and the regular business access has absolutely feel, love, and appreciated as well.
Yeah, for sure. So,
Chris
what's the
asked
format?
what's the format for the Tech Mastermind?
Yeah. So the format of the Tech Mastermind is we have, I think we have 4 or 5, and they're more facilitators. So Brian Cato is going to kind of show you real quick what he's doing, and there's typically an open session, conversation about something that he's doing, probably with Google Sheets, which is just so amazing freaking stuff. And then, Holly will talk about some of the stuff she's probably doing with AI and video and voice and stuff like that. But it's just, like I said, it's a room where everybody's in, but there's really no format. So we will really want to show, we have 4 or 5 people that we want to kind of show that are really doing some pretty cool stuff. And then we can expand from there. Last year, we had a couple people talk about what they were doing that weren't scheduled to share anything. So it is really an open forum. Last year was kind of a bummer because we actually had to leave. We had to exit the room like after 2 hours. And so, that kind of stunk. So this year we have the whole afternoon. So then just like the 2 highlights of, the last conferences we've done has been the golf on Thursday. Woohoo! and then the Tech Mastermind. So, but again, the Tech Mastermind's a lot of fun. You get to see some really cool stuff. And then there's all stuff you can use too. So, it's just really, I'm a tech guy, so I love the other stuff, but I really geek out what Holly and Brian and, Garen Green and, these people were doing. It's just like, wow, that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. So, some really cool.
Yeah. Dan Kurt's going to finally get to, show people how scary his stuff is.
I'm telling you, that guy is wicked smart, and it's very unassuming, but there's some really great things from the tech people. And I think that's just where it's at. Again, you have to evolve with everything that's going on in Dan's on, and he saw that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You are very wicked smart. So I'm going to keep you around.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, we're almost out of time, everybody. Thank you so much for our first one. You're going to see a lot more of us if you choose. We are going to continue to do this type of content. We're definitely going to get into more of the Q&A stuff. So, again, if you want to talk schema on page, I don't talk about link building, but maybe we can bring somebody in that does. But again, we want to have this be a content channel that also helps people. Obviously, we do a lot of stuff that we want people to be involved in. So don't take it as a pitch fest. People that know us know we would never go down that road. But, we do have a fabulous event coming in about, 43 days. And the fear of missing out, the FOMO, I just learned what that was like 4 months ago. I don't know. I'm old. Anyways, but this is really going to be a great one this year. And I want people to make sure that, I'll tell you this right now, if you come and you didn't get satisfied of what you came for, I'll make sure you get it. That's the bottom line. So, thanks again. If you have any questions, if you have any, any comments, please share them with us so we can do this better. Again, I don't know what's going to happen after I hit stop, but it looks like everything was connected for this. So that's a cool thing. And thank you for Chris and Adam kind of talking me into, the StreamYard software. This is pretty cool so far. So anyways, guys, thank you. Elisabeth, do you have anything?
Thank you. I hope to see everyone at the conference. You guys reach out if you have questions. If we didn't answer your questions, we're happy to offline. Let us know. Yep. We're here to help.
Yeah, if you have an agency, you want to send some staff, you definitely need to talk to Elisabeth because we have whole separate stuff for those type of tickets. So we want this to be open to whoever can come. We even have a kind of a basic ticket price this year that doesn't include lunch. And it was kind of recommended to us, but I like including lunch. So anyways, but reach out. Thank you so much for everybody. Thank you for your time. I know your time is valuable, and God bless and have a wonderful day.
Bye, guys.